gents. Thanks for joining in again tonight to the BI Edge. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve a common problem, and this is when retrieving data from the World Bank Group, how to clean it and get it into a format that is good for analysis. So typically what we see with World Bank data is we see, I'm just downloading it here now, we see vertically across the page all the different years. So you can see here, we've got all the different years across the page here, which is no good when you want to build a model in a data set because you need to have year as a variable column and then all the years underneath. Okay, but all the data's here. So the layout is all wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to go about this. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go Control N, new workbook. I'm going to close this one down. Okay, I believe I've already got a copy saved, so that should be fine. Okay, we're going to go straight into Power Query here. Okay, and usually you use the transpose function, but we're not going to use the transpose function today. I'm going to show you another way of doing it in Power Query that's just a little bit more efficient, that automates the whole process here. Okay, so we have a look here. Okay, that's the data set, the metadata here. Entry code, that looks right. Okay, no, that's not right. It's this one. So data, yep. Yeah, okay, cool. Got our years and our values there. So transform, that's always a key piece there just to ensure that you clicking on the right sheet in the data set when you're doing this. Okay, so we've just got a raw data set like what I showed here. So the first thing is here is I need to remove some rows. So up here, I go remove top rows, okay? And first things first, I want to remove the first two rows at the top. I want to try and get that year value here to the top, okay? So I see that there. I go, okay, I need to now bring that up to use first row as headers. Okay, now the first row is up there as headers, and we're starting to get a spreadsheet together here. Okay, so from here, what we want to do is we want to go to the column 1960 here. We want to hold down the Shift key, and we are going to scroll across the page, and we're going to keep holding down Shift to 2023, okay, until that's all selected here. Now, from here, what we want to do is we want to go to the Transform tab up here. And what we want to do on the Transform tab is we want to unpivot these columns, okay? So that's just here, and we want to go unpivot only selected columns, okay? Because it's just the columns that we've selected. And what that then does is brings it into normal format, okay? So we've got GDP here, all right? And then we've got over here, we've got year, okay? And we've got that for all the different countries down here, country name, year, GDP, all right? If I want to, go with this and I want to, just kind of change it a little bit to change the number to make it more financial, I can change it into a currency value here, or I can also go back into Excel and change it as a accounting based format. Doesn't really matter. But I've changed it to currency here by going back to the home tab and then going data type down to currency. Okay, I'm going to close and load now. So close and load, straight in. Okay, now I've got the data. They're looking pretty good. I could have removed these columns as well, but for this sake, it's not really that many variables across the top that I really need to worry too much. Okay, we go pivot table. Okay, straight across the page here now. All right, so in this instance, we want to probably know country name. It's quite important. If I just want to know Australia, for example, I can filter out to Australia, which I'll do shortly. We want to know the GDP value, and we want to know the year. Okay, so straight away here, I'm just going to go to Australia, and we're just going to select Australia because that's the country that I'm in. All right. Okay. And now we need to clean this up. So we come down here. We need to get rid of some of the totals and the subtotals. So we just clean that out down here in the row section. Okay. And then we need a tabular format here as well. So we go report layout, show on tabular form. Okay. And we can now see Australia from 1960 all the way there to 2023 for the nation's GDP. So I'll say call this total GDP here. Okay. All right. And it looks like the value has gone back out of currency here. So what I now need to do is I need to make column C in accounting, okay, which I've now done here. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a chart, go line graph. Usually you want to go line graph when you're looking at different measures across time, across a different time period, which is sort of what we've got here. Okay, and we can sort of have a bit of a look at over time, how Australia has performed there. Okay, that just gives us a bit of an idea as to sort of what's happened over the years. Okay, I can hide these buttons on the chart. Okay, and this is Australia GDP 1960 to 2023. We'll call it GDP growth. Okay, so now I can make an assessment on this. I can go back into the World Bank. I can do the same on another data set, and I could probably do a power pivot model across two different variables. Could be population growth and the correlation with GDP growth, and looking at those two measures together. I could do a series of different variables and do a multiple linear regression analysis to have a look at further R squared values and P values and T values in the form of machine learning and predictive analytics to try and perform a model of what's going to happen to Australia's GDP in the future. But just at a basic kind of business level here, if we look at this graph, we can see that, okay, when did we see the downturns in Australia's GDP? Well, over time it's trended upwards. That's pretty clear here. 2013, we saw a drop from 2013 all the way down to 2016. And I find that interesting because that's when the oil price went down. A lot of Australian mining companies didn't perform as strong. So Australia's GDP, that would insinuate that Australia's GDP is quite reliant on the mining industry. We also saw a drop here after the GFC, which you probably see in a lot of markets looking over different nations' GDPs in that time. And then obviously over here too, we saw a downturn through COVID, okay, but recovered pretty strongly through that. All right, that's the video there for tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I'll look forward to catching you in the next video. Cheers.